to the program, if you would, please.
Yes, thank you, Brother Eric. Om Shanti, everyone. I am grateful that you are all here tonight. And if you are new to our Thursday night insightful conversations, welcome. And if you are seasoned listeners and attendees, welcome back. So happy November. As you know, November sits right in the middle is Thanksgiving. And it's no surprise that we would celebrate Thanksgiving because it is the month, fall is our harvest, our abundance. It's our ability to appreciate all that we have, all the gifts that we are given. And I actually have a quote. I was looking for a quote, and this kind of sums up how it's said better than me, by John F. Kennedy. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not through our words, but rather to live by them. And I'll give you a little secret. Whenever I do a meditation, I always dedicate the meditation. I dedicate the meditation to thankfulness to God for the abundance that He sends to me, and I in turn, I hope, can give to the universe. So it is through God, and it comes through me, His abundance, and I hopefully will share that. And that is the gratitude that I give every day. So I'm very happy for the subject matter today. And also for the teacher who we have today, who happens to be, you know, the expression, when you're ready, the teacher appears. Well, Sister Carmen was my teacher. And what turned out to be a 7-day course actually turned out to be months, if I recall. It just couldn't get enough. So I'm so happy that she is here tonight because she is such an insightful and generous teacher. And if you've had the pleasure of coming to one of her sessions in various iterations that she does with Harmony House and her work in the Bronx, you'll know what I'm talking about, and we're in for something special. But just to give you a little background on Sister Carmen, she is Carmen Palmer. And by the way, my name is Michelle. Hello, everybody. I always forget to say my name. I'm Michelle. Is a retired registered nurse. She has been studying, practicing, and teaching Raja Yoga meditation with the Brahma Kumaris for the past 24 years. And she coordinates activities for the Point of Life Foundation, which offers programs to integrate spirituality and healthcare with the goal of sustaining healthcare professionals. And I used to be a healthcare professional, and I wish I had had this. Maybe I'd still be a healthcare professional, but I did work in the hospital as a healthcare professional. I didn't know you then, Carmen. Should have. I used to be a physical therapist in acute care. So I was on the floors of a hospital. So I could see the need for spirituality, and she enhances the quality of the human experience in the healthcare system. Well, better late than never, as I say, is meeting you. In addition, Carmen's passion for women's empowerment movement has led her to create and facilitate highly engaging experiential, that's the key word, experiential and practical workshops and retreat. Welcome, Sister Carmen, again, for joining us this evening. I know it's going to be terrific. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that warm introduction. Om Shanti to everybody and good evening. Well, it's a delight. It's a delight to be here. I haven't been here in a long time, to be with the group. And yes, as Michelle say, it's that time of the year. We are getting close to Thanksgiving, and we're getting close to the festivities of the holidays. And so it's the season when we reflect on what we're thankful for. On Thanksgiving Day, I know many of you will be gathering around with your family and your friends, eating and having conversations maybe about this. What are we thankful for? There is a lot to be thankful for. We've gone through a lot over the last couple of years, still going through a lot, and probably will be going through a lot for a very long time. But through all of the lot that we're going through, there is still so much to be grateful for. And I know all of you have been reflecting probably on this. What do I have to be grateful for? So it's a lovely time to think about gratitude and to talk about gratitude, being grateful. And how does this, what is really gratitude? And how does this gratitude serve us to have a grateful heart or just to be grateful? When we talk about just being grateful, what do we have to gain by being grateful? And does an attitude of gratitude, as we say, an attitude of gratitude, does it actually make a difference in my life? So this evening, that's what we're going to reflect on a bit, this aspect of gratitude. You know, it's interesting because when I was preparing to share on this topic, a thought came to me, and I really never thought about it before, but it kind of popped in my head. That there is a difference between saying thank you to thanks, to give thanks, giving thanks, and being grateful or having a grateful heart. Can anyone think about the difference? Michelle, can you think about the difference? What's the difference between just saying I'm grateful? I thank you. I thank you for this. And
From
having
I'm
a
sorry.
grateful heart.
I think a grateful heart is ongoing. I think it is intrinsic in the, it's an awareness at all times of an abundance that you have versus, but I do think you do have to thank people. I think, I think one thing, if you don't feel that gratitude, oftentimes by just saying it to people more frequently may lead you to have that more internalized gratitude. So I think they're two tied together, but I think once you are aware, I think it kind of takes over that everything you can be grateful for, because there is just so much to be grateful for. It's not isolated incidents. It's a whole pervasive
Right.
being.
Right. Exactly. So to give thanks, usually it's connected to maybe one thing that somebody does for me, one thing that somebody gives me, it's something specific. Usually I am saying thank you for. But when I have a grateful heart, that's become my nature. It's my nature to be grateful. It's my personality to be grateful. So I don't need any specific thing to be done to me, for me, or to be given to me for me to be grateful. So it's interesting because that popped in my mind, which I never really thought about. And so I thought I would just throw that out there, to be grateful in this moment for something specific. But
I think that's very important, Sister Carmen.
To have a grateful heart when I'm always grateful, not for anything specific. Yeah. So what does it mean to be grateful? Let's look a little bit about what does it mean to be grateful. And for me, to be grateful is to have an attitude in which there is always the ability to find good in every situation and to appreciate that good. It's an attitude of gratitude, as they would say, or having a grateful heart means that you operate from a place of abundance instead of from a place of scarcity and fear of not having. So you're always grateful. You're always contented with where you are. You're always contented with what you have. You're contented even with what you don't have. So that's gratitude, always this ability to find benefit in everything, to find a reason to be grateful for everything in life, for all of life, for that matter. And so why is it so important that we're grateful? Why is this having a grateful heart so important? And I know that we all know how important it is to have a positive attitude. I mean, we've all been coming to these sessions. You've probably been going to other sessions elsewhere. And the concept of positivity, positive attitude, positive thinking is not positive feeling, positive attitude is not a new thing for you. So we all know what it feels like and what it means to be positive. So we're taught to look in the world, we're taught to look at the world as half full. The glass is half full, not half empty, because of the importance of being always positive. There's a good reason to adopt this mindset. And I think we all probably have a good idea about that. Studies show that if you express gratitude, it raises your happiness by 25%. So in gratitude, we are being grateful. We are being positive. We are raising our vibration to a higher level. And when you take a moment to give thanks for what you have, instead of ruminating over what you don't have, then that's what fills you up. And as Michelle is saying, yeah, it's one thing to say I have a grateful heart, but I also need to express the gratitude. It's important because it's in the expression of that gratitude that I keep this grateful heart full. If I have it and I don't express it or I don't share it, then it will die, it will disappear in the background. So this aspect of just being able to express this gratitude for everything is what fills me up, is what keeps me up, keeps me full, my gratitude container full, and it's what contributes, it's the foundation for my happiness. So this is one way to make sure that you wake up every morning, every single day, feeling calm, feeling joyful, feeling blissful, feeling happy. And that is to cultivate the nature of a grateful heart. It's to cultivate and it's to nurture and sustain the grateful heart that we cultivate. And that fills up that energy of gratitude. It's when we get up every morning and we can be grateful. We have a reason. It doesn't have to be a reason that we can identify this, that, or the other, but just being alive, just being able to wake up, just being able to see that I can see, I can hear, the birds are chirping, life is here, is enough for me to be grateful for. And that's what we refer to when we say an attitude of gratitude. My whole attitude is of gratitude. So it's always being able to find the good in every situation and to be grateful for all of life. So each of us always has a choice of what we will focus on and what we will make important in our lives. So grateful people will always give thanks for everything. One whose heart is filled with gratitude will always give thanks for everything in their lives, even in the days when it feels like nothing is going right. We will find something in that to be grateful for. So I'm not saying that you're a bad person if you can't find something good in a bad day. That's not what I'm saying, of course. Life is certainly far from being perfect, and sometimes things happen that cause us to react negatively. You might find having a pity party sometimes a little fulfilling for the moment. If there's nothing else to do, however, in the short term or in the long term, the pity party doesn't really do any good for us, right? It doesn't do any good for us mentally or emotionally, or even physically, because we do know that whatever is going on emotionally, whatever is going on in our minds, whatever is going on in our hearts, is going to impact us, or physical health, or bodies in the same way, right? We have positive thoughts, we have positive vibrations, we're vibrating, we have positive feelings, and that's going to impact our bodies positively. And if the vice versa is true, if the opposite is true, it's going to impact our body in the same way, negatively. So certainly being grateful is one way to chase off stress and anxiety, and to contribute to an overall state of well-being. While being grateful is an essential part of our healthy lifestyle, it is always the easiest thing to remember to do. It's not always the easiest thing to remember to do. We know it's a benefit, but we always don't necessarily remember to be grateful. But it does serve us well when we do it. So we have to figure out ways to remind ourselves to be grateful all the time. It is now well studied and recognized phenomena, as science has shown, that gratitude allows our brain to increase the release of important neurochemicals in the body and in the brain. So when we think in a way that shifts our thoughts from negative, or feelings from negative to positive, there is a surging of good chemicals, such as dopamine, such as serotonin or oxytocin, these feel-good chemicals from the brain. These positive, these impact our thinking positively. It impacts our moods positively. It impacts our willpower and our motivation positively. And so they continue to So they will contribute to the feelings of closeness to others, to connections and happiness that come when we have, or when we are secreting these hormones. And so when we have gratitude, we are likely to have these feelings of joy and happiness and closeness because of the chemical hormones that are secreted in our brains. That's well known, but what's not well known is that regularly engaging in an attitude of gratitude practice, it strengthens these neural pathways. So not only do you feel good in the moment, but it also strengthens the capacity for you to feel good all the time. So over time, practicing gratitude will train your brain to focus on what is good, to know the difference between what's good and what's not, but also to be able to always create feelings of being happy and joyful and feeling good. And that leads to all sorts of positive outcomes, mentally, emotionally, and physically. There was a study that was done with nurses, and that found that gratitude consistently predicted less exhaustion, fewer sick days, and higher job satisfaction. So this has been a well-studied phenomena that has really gone on for quite some time. And so there is no question if gratitude has these impact on the being, at all levels. It's not just a figment of our imagination. So if gratitude is so good for your mental and your emotional health, then why do so many people struggle to practice it? Because we all don't practice gratitude. But most of us will say thank you for something. Most of us will say thank you for someone having done something for us or having given us something, but we don't necessarily always practice gratitude. So as human beings, we are hardwired actually to dwell or fixate on things that are bad. We probably, for some reason or the other, have done that, right? So psychologists have found that negative events have a higher impact on our brain than positive ones. That's referred to as a negative bias. So we tend to hold on to whatever is negative more so than we hold on to what is positive. We remember the negative things in our lives. And so because of that, we tend to move away from this tendency to naturally be grateful for things in life, because we tend to fixate on the things that are not so good, the things that have left us with negative feelings. So, it helps. So gratitude helps us to overcome our hardwired negativity bias, which is our tendency. That tendency to focus on negative events rather than the positive events. If I were to ask you, if we were in a conversation and I were to ask you to remember, to reflect on your most memorable air travel experience, not your best one necessarily, but the one that sticks out for you from all the others, the chances are that you're probably going to remember the day when you didn't catch your plane, your transfer from one plane to the next didn't happen on time, the day when you got nauseated on your flight, the day when your baggage got lost. These things might be what stick out for you in terms of your memorable flight experience. The trips that saw you through to your destination safely without any incident are usually the first ones to fade away from your mind. Those beautiful positive moments, they're very short-lived. In the moment you experience them, but for the most, they're very short-lived. We tend to forget them very easily. But because of the negative biases that's always at work, that's why we forget the things that may be small things, but they were also positive things. We tend to remember the things that leave us with a negative impact, a negative experience. Those are the things we tend to remember. And so that's what we call negative bias. So this explains why it takes so much intentionality to practice gratitude and to adopt that gratitude, which ultimately leaves our hearts filled with that energy, that vibration of gratitude. We tend not to practice it as an attitude, as a lifelong attitude, so our hearts don't become full with that gratitude. So having an attitude of gratitude or having a grateful heart, really because of the positive impact it has on us, it forces me to get outside of our problems and to look at a bigger picture. It forces us to come out of the things that pull us down, and to lift us up to another level where our energy is high, where our energy is vibrating, and where we are sensing the fullness of life. So we're seeing things from a bigger perspective when we tend to be grateful, when we tend to look at things in a negative, when we see what is wrong, what's going wrong, it depresses our energy, so we're not vibrating fully. And so because we are always in a positive frame and a positive state of being, we are in operating from this high vibrational field. And so you therefore will see things that may be ordinary to somebody else and may be an ordinary thing, things that may seem like a problem. You are then able to see beyond the limited, beyond the ordinary, beyond the problem. And you see in that situation gifts, you see opportunities, you see blessings. Your life is always that way. That's how you live your life. Your life always seems extraordinary. And you are always in a state of gratefulness and appreciation. And I would say contentment. You will always be contented. So that's really what it takes when we're grateful. You know, this is what happens to us when we're grateful. Our lives get shifted into another dimension because everything has a silver lining on it for you. You know we see things that are not going so right, things that don't feel so well maybe, but we know beyond that there is something in it for me to be grateful for. And because I have this habit of being grateful, it then becomes very easy, even if I don't know what it is, to be grateful for. But I know just the mere fact that I'm alive to experience in this challenge, in this moment, life is giving me an opportunity to experience something beautiful, something great, something grand. And so in turn, you're better able to bounce back or bounce forward when you're challenged in life. You're more resilient because you can always see situation another way. You're always seeing solutions. And even if you don't see the solutions right now, you know that there is a solution somewhere. So you tend to move towards that solution, wherever that solution is and whatever that solution is, and be grateful for it. You always have a higher perspective on things. That is what happens when we have this attitude, this nature of being grateful, this grateful heart. So how do we express gratitude? How does one who have a grateful heart show up in the world? Do you have the capacity to write on the chat, to put something in chat? Do we have that ability, Michelle?
Yes, we do. For them to put it in or for you to put it in?
For them to put it in.
We'll make that happen.
Okay. So I would just, thank you, Brother Eric. I would just like to hear from everybody. When you feel that you're grateful, you have a grateful heart, or you meet someone who has a grateful heart, how is that person to you? What do you notice about that person? How do they show up? How what? And feel free to put it in the chat if you want to share. Yes, no. Michelle, do you want to share something on this?
Yeah, well, I wrote down, I find, and there are a number of people, I'm not going to call them out because I know some of the people on the call, I find many of them are learning gratefulness. You know, I've seen the arc, if you will. I've seen their growth and they become magnetic. You want to be near them. I find people that are positive and grateful are magnets for me. It's like, that's who you want to be with. So they become like almost like magnet, and I'm a needle wants to be attached to them.
I am not seeing anything on the chat. Are you seeing anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we have a few. People say happy and fulfilled when they are grateful. People that are grateful are open, loving, and giving.
Okay, sure.
And what Dan says, like a lighthouse. That, you know, that you are like, I guess I feel I said it better than me. That's better, Dan. A lighthouse, that in other words, you're attracted, you know, in the dark, they are the lighthouse. That's very well said. Thank you. Yeah.
And this is all
good answers.
And this is all possible because, of course, as we said, people who are grateful, who have a grateful heart, are living from a place of abundance. And so these individuals will always be benevolent. They will always want to give. They will, because they're so contented and they're so full within themselves.
Right.
Yes, they're loving, they're caring, they're giving, they're light.
Right. And sweet. I hear the word sweet with their words, which is true. There's a sweetness, and that sweetness stays with you after you leave them, like a sweetness in the mouth. And they laugh, have smiling and laughing a lot. It's true, right? Do you think that, Sister Carmen, they're lighter, the smiling and laughing, right? Isn't that more so?
Yes, of course. Easy to be around, you know. They're not complicated individuals. They don't struggle with life. They don't keep asking why this happened, why that happens. This shouldn't happen, that shouldn't happen. This one shouldn't have done this one shouldn't have done that, because they are accepting of life, and whatever comes to them, they find a reason to take a gift from it. Yeah, so it's very easy to be around these individuals. So how do we nurture? We have to nurture this gratitude to really make it grow and make it always be present. Practicing gratitude also, it requires slowing down long enough to think and reflect, slowing down so that we can, as they would say, smell the roses or see the roses. We can see our lives these days, you know, we live in a culture where we are always on the go. We are always running. We don't have time to stop. We don't have time to stop and appreciate the simple things in life, the everyday things in life. Many of us are so overscheduled, overstimulated, and so focused on the future that we struggle to see what's right in front of us. Or we're obsessed with improving our situation. We're never satisfied. It's always wanting more. And so we're never satisfied with what's right in front of us. We're chasing after promotions. We're trying to lose weight. We're trying to get out of debt. We're trying to please people. We're trying to do everything. And so we can't see the opportunities and the gifts that come in front of us in simple things. So we can really be appreciative. And so we can really always be grateful. And that all we can think about is what we lack, right? We think about what we lack, what we need to get, what we don't have. And so we can't see what's in front of us for us to be really, truly grateful about what's there. And so there again, we reinforce the pattern of negative biases, negativity bias. We don't have what went wrong, what's going wrong, what's happening in my life that shouldn't have happened. And I can't see what is happening that I can be grateful for. Even those things that are not so right, they are opportunities for me to grow, to experience another aspect of life, another aspect of myself, to practice something, a virtue, a quality, something that's inside of me, that I can come to know myself even more. We don't have time to appreciate that because we don't take time for silence, to slow down, to see where we are and to see where we're going. And all of that is to say that if gratitude does not come naturally to us, it's normal. It's normal, and it's not natural, but is what is because of the way we're living our lives. But just because your grateful muscle, your gratitude muscle is weak because we haven't been using it, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't begin now to exercise it. It may be weak, but it's there. We all have the ability to appreciate. We all have the ability to be grateful. So we start to use it in simple ways, and gradually practicing it, it becomes more and more stronger. So it takes time and intentionally for us to do this. Yeah, we have to do this deliberately. But even though it takes so much time and takes so much effort, if we have not been doing it, the benefit of regularly reflecting on what you're grateful for is worth the investment. Yeah? Put the time into it to practice being grateful every single day. Every moment, actually, is worth the investment. The long-term investment is worth it, and the short-term investment. So when you make it a conscious habit to express appreciation for your life, for just being alive, the universe listens and responds with more love, with more gifts, with more opportunities. Life becomes more and more blissful, happy, yeah, fulfilling. We feel the beauty of life more and more, the more we allow ourselves to consciously appreciate life and everything that comes in that package called life. So to turn an attitude of gratitude into a sustainable habit, though, your foundation for feelings of gratitude must not be dependent on your circumstances. Okay, so we don't practice being grateful only when we receive something, only when the circumstance seems positive and seem to lend to it, but always remembering that we can, every single day of our life, every moment of our life, we can find something to be grateful for. So it's not just the circumstance, but making it a habit makes it becomes our nature. So hence, even on the days when it feels like nothing is going right, you have to find the silver lining, and you have to give thanks for what is working and for what doesn't seem to be working. There's a beautiful saying by Melody Beatty, I don't know if you know her. She says, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what you have into enough, no matter how little it is, and even more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, and confusion into clarity. So when something doesn't seem clear, you don't understand what's going on, it really seems chaotic, and you can move yourself into a place of gratitude. You've moved yourself into a place of positivity. You've moved yourself out of the negative, low vibrational energy of the chaos into a higher frequency. And then the intellect becomes clear. And in no time, you're able to see things more clearly. So solutions become obvious to you. The answers you're looking for becomes available. Gratitude has the power to do that. So there are a few steps, simple ways, I would say, that we may want to use to develop that gratefulness in our hearts, that attitude of gratitude. So let's just look at some of them very step by step. One of the things that we do, first of all, is to remember we have to practice this every single day. Whatever it is we engage in to bring this gratitude into our being, we have to practice it every day. What we're doing, we're rewiring our psychic, right? We're reprogramming ourselves to move out of that negative programming, that negativity bias, to move into a place where we can see the good in everything and be grateful for everything. We have to do this every single day so that transformation is really, truly happening within us at a deep level. It's not just something that's happening once in a while. It's becoming our nature. One of the things that people practice, and it's a really lovely practice, is to keep a journal, a gratitude journal. If someone were to ask you right now what you're grateful for, would you be able to answer? What you're grateful for in this moment without thinking too hard about it? Would you be able to answer? If we have the habit of keeping a journal every day, usually maybe at night before you go to bed, what was I grateful for today? And every day I find 5 new things, 4 new things, 10 new things, whatever it is that I can find. But every day I find something new that I can be grateful for every single day. That will begin to build our gratitude muscles. Okay? And so by doing so, what we are rewriting our brain to focus on the good. We are rewriting our consciousness or awareness to focus on the good. So gratitude journaling is a habit of recording and reflecting on things that we're regularly grateful for. So practice that if you've not been doing it. Get yourself a nice little notebook, a nice little journal, and at nights before you go to bed, just sit with yourself in silence, do a little bit of reflection, and then think about, what was I grateful for today? Like Michelle said in the beginning, you have to express your gratitude. It's important to do that. And yes, it's important to do that for the person you're expressing it to, but also for you developing that habit of seeing that there is something to be grateful for in every moment. So once you have developed the attitude of gratitude, you're free to share that love with others. How often do you take the time to tell people in your life how much they mean to you? To tell people how much you appreciate them at home, on your job, randomly, maybe on the bus, maybe in the subway, maybe at the post office, maybe at the supermarket, randomly. How can we do that? You know, we can write little gratitude notes. You can practice that. A little gratitude note. Let's have a little note or a little card. I appreciate you for what you do. Simple. You have no idea what that means to the person you give it to, but also for yourself, for developing this habit of expressing gratitude. So we could do that, we do that in the workplace. They write little notes and just give it to somebody randomly. I appreciate you for who you are. I appreciate you for what you do. Or specifically, I appreciate you but when you did so and so. Whatever it is, it's just getting in that habit of appreciation. Celebrating the small things. We don't have to wait for big things to express our gratitude. We don't have to wait for big things to appreciate and to express our gratitude and to celebrate gratitude. We can appreciate little things in life, any little thing in life. Oh. The birds sang on your window this morning. Could you appreciate that? The rain fell and watered the lawn. Can you appreciate that? The first flower bloom in the spring. Can you appreciate that? Doesn't matter what it is. Appreciate and celebrate the small things in life. Relish in it. Take time to pause, to slow down, to savor these small things. So instead of obsessing about the future and what's going to happen and whether or not this is going to happen, that is going to happen, some big thing's going to happen. It's okay. When they happen, you appreciate them. But in the moment, little things are happening. Appreciate them too. Meditation. Meditation for us is a key. It's something that we don't live without. You know, for those of you who've been coming to the Brahma Kumaris over the years, you know that our mainstay is meditation. And when we meditate, what we're doing, we're evoking within ourselves that which is positive, that which lives within us, that is positive. We are those positive beings. We all are full with what is positive, and we are emerging them, and we're learning how to appreciate who we truly are. We're learning how to come to know ourselves and truly appreciate and to be grateful for who we are. And in that, we're also learning how to appreciate everyone else and who they are. We're appreciating our outer world. As we appreciate our inner world, we're appreciating our outer world. And we're aligning ourselves with that in a very beautiful, positive way. We are aligning ourselves with the one, the source of all positivity, the one that we are so grateful for, that allow us to be able to be aware of all of this, you know, and that's God. The most positive one, the one that we are most grateful for, because it is through our connection with God that we are able to recognize all that is good in life. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it. To be able to have a new perspective on things, it's because of our relationship with God that we're able to do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be. We would live in a world of sorrow and a world of negativity. So meditation, especially what we call Raj Yoga meditation, is the meditation that allows us to become so elevated within our way of thinking and our way of living life, so that we do not get trapped in anything that's negative in the world, in anything that would pull us into that deep space of what is that low energy, no? But it moves us, or relationship moves us to a higher level where we can start to see things from a different perspective. We start to see things the way God sees things, no? The way God sees things is only positive, only positive. And if we can see everything with the eye of only positive, then we can be grateful for everything. So we're going to take a few moments in a little while to reflect on that. But this is what it does. It takes a few moments out of our busy schedule every day to reflect on that which is positive. So if we can, every moment when we get up and before we get our day started, find a couple of things that we can think on to be positive, to be grateful about, not only at night when we go to bed, but in the morning, to be grateful about. That, again, is helping to reinforce what we're practicing, this positive attitude. Make every minute of your life count. See the benefit in every moment. Appreciate every moment. Be grateful for it. If you concentrate on what you have, you'll always have more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, then you'll never have enough. That's a very common saying, no? It's never too late to start cultivating attitude of gratitude. So I may not have been doing it before, but this is a moment. It's now. We can start now. What are we grateful for? Give thanks for whatever there is in every single moment, in every single day. We can find something to be grateful for. Life is beautiful. Even if it doesn't look that way, life is beautiful. So take the time to stop and appreciate it. Gratitude has the power to transform your entire life. So with that said, hopefully I would have left 1 or 2 little points for you to think about. What does gratitude mean for you? And how can I begin to develop this attitude of gratitude, to reinforce it, nurture it, so that my life can be transformed? Om Shanti. So Michelle?
Thank you, Sister Carmen. That was, thank you. Let me say thank you. I liked especially there's a lot that I learned today. I think you know about gratefulness, but you brought up some very interesting points, and the intentionality of it is very important too, that it must be cultivated. And I'll tell you, I'm a living example of that. When I was very young, I don't think I had an attitude of gratitude. I also had to cultivate it, and how I did it was thanking people over and over and over again. And you're right, when you brought up the point about rewiring your brain, it's true. Now, I don't know how I don't remember that other person, but it's true. I now see the gratitude, but I had to cultivate it in myself. I couldn't understand why I wasn't happy or grateful, and when I was a youngster. So everything you said really resonated. I do want to ask, someone had asked if you could repeat the name of the person who said those expressions. That's from Marcella. She had, Marcella said.
Melody Beatie, Beatie.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, and gratitude is final. Sherry mentions that gratitude is vital. I used to write 5 a day and we'll start again. So you reminded us, and I think it's a good practice. I think it's really that's easy. I think that's an easy, lovely practice. So I'm going to take my journal too at night. That's lovely. That is isn't that good, everybody? Isn't that an easy thing to do, to come up with just one thing that you're grateful for? I think you'll have a good night. And when you wake up, to start your day, to set your day up, I think that's fantastic. So thank you so much. Did I tell you it would be practical points that you'd be able to use right away and experience? So thank you. Thank you, teacher. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And Sister Carmen, will you please do a meditation with us, and we can practice what you have taught us. Thank you.
Okay, so just let us allow ourselves to move into this silent, peaceful space. Make your bodies comfortable, relaxed. Sit comfortable with your legs on the ground, so there's no distraction, with your hands on your laps. And you may keep your eyes open if you wish, or slightly closed, but don't fall asleep. We first are going to detach ourselves from our bodies, from the awareness of our bodies, and from our bodily connections, so we can move to an inner space to connect with that being that is full of life and full of gratitude. So take your attention away from your physical senses, from your physical body, Move your attention away from your roles and your responsibilities, from your relationships, from your possessions and positions, from the outside world, from all that is temporary, transient, fleeting. And turn your attention to the center of your forehead as though you're looking inside your head. Visualize and experience that there is a silent space within the being. And I am the silent one that lives in the silent space. And through the physical organs, I connect and I experience the world outside. But I am separate from that world. I am a tiny point of living light. And this being of light is a conscious one, the one that experiences, the one that observes. This being is full and complete, is vibrant, full of life energy, full of light, full of love, full of peace, full of joy, full of beauty, full of wisdom and spiritual strength. That is the one that is always eternally full. And in this awareness of fullness, I am always grateful. I am always contented because I lack absolutely nothing. I can appreciate all of life for what it is because of who I am. I need nothing. I lack nothing. So regardless of what's going on outside, regardless of what comes to me in the physical, I can be grateful for them. But with or without them, I am grateful anyway. I am filled with that attitude of gratitude, just to be a being that is filled with life, a being that is full with everything that life requires me to have. And with this attitude, I can relate to everyone in a very positive way. My relationships are benevolent. I'm always ready to give, ready to share, ready to be open and loving and kind to everyone. Because there is so much gratitude for just being in relationship with everyone. So I sit just for a moment longer and I just allow myself to just sense and feel the fullness of the being. Sense that there is nothing lacking. And so there is such contentment, such joy, such beauty. And I am grateful. Just grateful for life. Grateful for everything. It's the gift all the gifts, the little gifts and the big gifts that life offers, for which I am grateful. Just to be me, I am grateful. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sweet sister. I appreciate you. And I see from the chat that many have sent their thank yous to you. And in particular, thank you for this reminder. Can't be said enough. And you left us with many blessings, as Jane pointed out, for special gifts and blessings that you left us this evening. She said it beautifully. Thank you so much, Sister Carmen. Lots of hearts.
Thank you.
And thank you. I appreciate you too, Brother Eric, for all that you do. And I appreciate everyone who stayed this evening to listen. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the Supreme Soul for the abundance that he reveals to us. As Dan said, he is the lighthouse, and if we're open to it, we can see what is revealed in the abundance. And we are very, very fortunate, and we are grateful. So thank you again, everyone. And next week, we continue November's expressions of gratitude, and a special treat. I just called him out. Brother Eric will be pulling double duty. He will be doing our technology, but he will also be our presenter. And it is realizing appreciation. We're going to go even deeper, and you'll see the narrative arc this month. So it will be realizing appreciation with Brother Eric. So we'll see you next week. Om Shanti. Have a good week.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much, Carmen. We're all grateful for your presentation. And I think next week is going to be very special too. So thank you all. See you then, and have an appreciative and grateful week, day, moment, life. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, everyone.